Elijah Blake, can you hear
Elijah
me?
Blake, you hear me?
What's happening, bro?
What's going on,
What's
man?
going
Welcome to
on?
the show. Elijah Blake is here for Sports and Hip Hop with DJ Mad Max, Live 365, iHeartRadio. One of the top songwriters in the game, one of the top artists in the game, and he's charting all over Apple Music with his new self-titled Elijah Period album. Welcome to the show,
What
man.
up, man? Thank you for having me, bro. I was excited about this.
Oh, I appreciate it, man. I know you're not big because I remember in the past just hearing about in past interviews and me doing your research on you, you weren't big on podcasts because you feel as though that they're not big on because you're not big on people who don't have the credentials.
Oh yeah, you calling me on it today? I saw the comments hitting me up about it. No, I'm very selective because I think that it can really help the culture and it can also hurt the culture. And I think people took it the wrong way when I said it, but it's just like I do music. I would never do a podcast about golfing because I can hurt that culture. I don't know enough about it. I can listen to it and appreciate it, but I just think I see a lot of podcasts now where people are not properly informed and they're speaking passionately on things that they're not properly informed on, and I think that's damaging.
Yeah. Shout out to Adam Ross. I'm not going to get into that, but we saw what was going on. But we have Elijah Blake here joining me for the album. And so, what did it take for you to reach your highest self with this new album? Because that's what it really took. Just me hearing about it, it took you close to over a year to really put this album together. We're going to get into the songs, but why did it take up until now for you to reach the highest self?
Accountability. I think that's something that we all think we possess, and I just had to really sit back with myself and be like, okay, you can easily pinpoint what everybody's done to you, and some of the stuff that yeah, you have a right to be traumatized about it, but how did you partake in it as well? How did you allow these people to think that it was okay to play with you in that way, and why does it keep happening? Why do you keep attracting this type of energy? So I had to really just unplug from social media. I didn't post for like 7 months, and I just locked myself in the studio. And certain things I won't say if somebody's in the room, you know what I mean? Because we need safe spaces. So I just had to go to the studio by myself, and that's a very lonely feeling. Like you can really feel alone in that way.
It's very personable for you. I know it's a difference when you're writing for someone like Usher compared to yourself because you take it, it's a part of you and what you've gone through personally. That's something that is interesting and learning about you and taking it in the studio. It's almost like your diary.
Exactly, exactly. I think that's why venting and Twitter people say their personal business. I don't understand it. I'm watching people say their personal things on Twitter. I'm like, those are not your friends. And this can and will be used against you in the future. But I think that's why people do it because they don't want to feel alone in their thoughts and in their mind and in their trauma. So for me, going through that, I was like, oh, like this is why people don't do it. It's not fun. It can get dark and you think about these things and sometimes you got to sit in your shame. You got to sit in your pain all by yourself.
Lots of overshares that are unnecessary on social media. We see what's going on now. And I wish that we could all take a break like you did because social media it's so addicting now. And the fact that you were able to put it down for months, that's
Right.
probably a world record.
It's hard, you know why? Because like the first week, you're literally addicted to the dopamine rush of it. But after a week, I was actually dreading coming back to social media, but I had to because of the project. And everything now is online, and there was a big fight with the team, with my team, just about me not posting enough or not wanting to, because I feel like I locked myself away for like 7 to 10 months. It was a long time. And then I've shared everything that I'm willing to share at this point in my life in the music. Why do I got to get on social media and relive it again? You know what I mean? Because I'm out of it now. And that was really tough going into this project. It almost made me be like, well, you know what? Maybe not the album, maybe nothing at all anymore. Because I had found so much peace from being off of social media.
I know you did. It was to the point to me learning about you that God woke you up out of sleep and told you that it's your time now. What was the reason that you were just done with the music industry? Was it because of your situations with Def Jam and just before you were able to get that partnership that you wanted with Monica and everything you got going on?
Yeah, for sure. After Def Jam, I was like, you know what? I grew up singing in the mirror and trying to be Michael Jackson and performing in the mirror. And I just had this dream like you get a record deal, you do everything right, you write to the best of your ability, you sing to the best of your ability, and you connect with a group of people, then it'll work out. You know what I mean? And you perform and you sharpen your gift and you just try to be great. But understanding the politics, the payola, the all the ways that people abuse their power on women and you're seeing it and I'm just kind of like, oh, this is not what I signed up for. Like I'm good. You know what I mean? And God definitely gave me a rude awakening and was like, this is why you're needed. This is why you're necessary. Get up and sing. Heal people. Even though you've been through this, like you have the power. To whom much is given, much is required. And I put this on you because I know you can bear it, this burden, but I need you to tell the stories of you coming out of it to inspire other people to come up out of it as well, too.
And that's what you're doing, and you're very cognizant about your lyrics because you approach it as, how is someone going to sing to my daughters or women that I care about? What are your thoughts on just how, because we know that men are dogs, we've
Yeah,
known it's been like that for the beginning of time,
I see that
but
too. I see that too.
how do you feel about women kind of playing into that culture now, where they're feeding into it, they're kind of allowing that behavior? It's almost like they're kind of submitting to that behavior now.
Yeah, I think it's a double-edged sword because I think there's a level of freedom that women now have, if we're being really honest, that they weren't always afforded. I think men have always been privy to a certain level of a certain privilege. We can do what we want, say what we want, drive. Like people don't realize it hasn't been that long since women weren't even able to drive, right? Like on their own, they're not able to do so many things. So when we talk about, oh, well, our grandmothers stayed with our grandfathers for this long and our great grandmothers stayed, and it's like, well, they couldn't go nowhere. Like you literally couldn't function without a husband. Like your husband had to do everything. So they probably would have left if they weren't burdened with the shackles and like that society had put onto them. So yeah, I just think women don't take as much shit nowadays, but at the same time, um, there is a responsibility to, when you put yourself out there, the attention that you attract. Um, it's just a double-edged sword. Yeah.
It's a lot of Ghostbuster energy.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is. I'm very traditional in that way, but I know that about myself. Like with a relationship, I don't play. Like I don't do the open relationships. I don't do none of that. So
Yeah, that's
I
ridiculous. What do you think about this culture now that's going on? There's so many women that are talking to different guys and they're supposedly secluded, and it's ridiculous, man. What happened in days of Boys to Men and LL Cool J with Hey Lover?
exactly.
What
You know
what
why though? Niggas ain't crying in the rain. I said this on my thing. Like y'all too tough. Like y'all get your ass in the rain and cry and beg for her to come back. Ooh, yeah. And then they say you, they too hard. You gotta say you. I miss you. It's these we gotta get our superpowers back, you know?
Yeah, Aaron Hall, I miss you.
You know, I miss it's a I miss you.
And you displayed that heavily on this album because I mean you had the live instrumentalization there, and then just with you at the end of Ghostbuster, just really breaking out the bridges there. You
Yeah,
displayed it, and you're a 90s, but you said it, you're a 90s baby. So you
yeah,
actually displayed that on the new album.
right. Bro, I those are the things that made me fall in love with music. So I know I'm not the only one. I know there are people like myself, like you out there who appreciate it. Like I didn't need to know what the single was when I'm trying to think of who my favorite, like with Aaliyah, right? Or like Genuine or like Boyz II Men. I don't need to know the single, even though they're a little bit before my time. I just knew I was gonna love that they were gonna sing their face off. I knew that Mariah Carey, no matter if it was track 7, if I put it on shuffle, she's singing her face off. So I bought it because of the craft. I bought it because of the talent, and I believe that talent can be the single. Everybody's trying to find the first single and saying what's the most edgy thing and the controversy. And I'm like, I'm not one of them people. Give me feeling, give me harmonies, give me stacking, layering. Yeah, and I'm with you. I want the story.
Yeah, I'm there with you. And that was, you brought up Aaliyah because you kind of looked at it from her first album, and you always looked at it, man, how come she didn't name her first album as a self-titled? And that was the projects down the road.
Exactly. And I saw her say in the interview she wasn't ready to, because she came out when she was like 14. And it's impossible to know yourself at that age. And I felt like everything I went through, I feel like a new artist right now. I just told Tank this the other day, like a few minutes ago. I feel like a brand new artist. Like I started when I was 15, and now I feel like a new artist. Isn't that crazy? So everything, I'm able to not be as bitter as I used to be, because I was bitter because I felt like, damn, I did everything right and I didn't get anything that was promised to me. People took advantage of me. My heroes took money from me, and just instead of wrapping their arms around me, they kind of abused that I was new in the industry. And I'm just kind of like, when that happens from your heroes, people be like, "Oh, let's life," and it's not that simple. I was a child, you know what I mean? And it's I'm just now coming into a place of peace about it. So now I can name the album, okay, Elijah, because I've arrived. I get where I in a space where there's Giveon, where there's Brent Fayez, where there's Lucky Day, where there's so much happening in the male R&B space. This is why people would come to me. This is why you should listen to me. This is why you should come back and play the album over. And this is why you can still listen to them and have space for me, because it's completely different from what you're used to.
From what you're seeing right now, because I mean the album's blowing up on the charts and rightfully so. We just listened to the album. I know we were well aware of your talent beforehand, but do you feel as though this is kind of like the second coming of Climax? Because Climax changed the game at the time with Usher, which you sat down and wrote with him. We saw it happen. It was in the David Guetta era, and then Usher took it back to the real R&B. You guys put it there. Do you feel as though it's like this is the Elijah, the self-titled album, is the second coming of that now?
Say that, Max. Bless me. Tank just said, because I just did his podcast, and he said that he's like, you can ask anybody who knows me. He always says when Climax was being written, there was no better song in the universe being created. And this is Tank who inspired me. And I didn't know what Climax was at the time. It wasn't. I didn't know that that song was gonna come and do a whole reset on R&B music. And it's hard for me to speak honestly about that without sounding like self. But it's not really self, because I was just a part of a great moment. But I can't deny, for the sake of appearing humble, deny what that record did, because at the time I didn't know it. But it really reset the tempo of the world, how men were singing, because they weren't doing falsetto. Everything was like, yeah, 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 or put your hands in the air. And here you have somebody singing and being choppy and all these things. And I do feel like when I did this project, I did not know what it was going to do. I did not know this was going to be the project that connected me with everything. I just knew, I said to God, Lord, like, I'm just tired of being your favorite singer's favorite singer. I need the world. I want to connect to the world. I don't want to be a part of like singer superiority. Like, because I've had like Sam Smith DM me and say like, hey, I appreciate you. Or even that, like, Nick Jonas has also been a supporter. And like a lot of people have like sent me like things like, yo, to keep going, I rock with you. But I make music for the world and for human beings to heal. So I think with this project, I just woke up one morning and was like, I got one more in me, or I'm gonna learn how to fucking do stocks or something, because everything that they promised me about this music industry has failed me. It's not true. It's criminals, crooks, and I don't want to be around. I'm not of these people. And I felt God said, well, then just tell the truth. I wasn't inspired. I just showed up to the studio. I said, okay, getting ready to tell the truth today. It was like, where you at, Elijah? Like, Keisha would call me. She's like, what you doing? You on a date or whatever? And I'm like, no, I'm in the studio. She's like, by yourself? And Keisha crazy. Like, that's why I love her. She'll be like, move the camera around. She want to see. Like, and she'd be like, you really are serious about this, in the studio by myself. And to watch how it's connecting, it is like a reset, because I think for so long in the R&B space, men felt like they had to just try to damn near be rappers and just, I'm unconcerned, unbothered, unemotional, numb to everything. And that's kind of like tired. Like, we're humans, we feel things, we go through things, and that's okay. And I think that's what this project is kind of doing right now. And that's why it's connecting.
A song that really spoke out to me on the record. This was the first song I used for the promo in announcing the show that we were going to be doing, was Nobu, because patience take time, great things take time. That was something that really hit deep. Is this in relation to what you're feeling right now, reaching your highest self? And now it's like, I'm Elijah, I'm an artist. I know I'm a songwriter, but now I'm here as an artist. I'm proven now.
Man, come on, I need to hire you on my team. But yes, bro, like, it, like, why are you mad? Are you not happy? This is my other self speaking to me. It's like, I'm a Gemini, so it's like six of us up here. But yeah, I was in the studio and I just heard somebody be like, you like how you sing now, don't you? You're a way better singer than you ever were. You're a way better performer than you ever were. You're a way better human being than you ever were. You're a way better friend, a way better son. So it took those things to happen. And I was like, yeah. So why are you mad? That you had to go through that process. I love the person I've become. I'm not even saying that because I went to a therapist and it's rehearsed and I wrote it down. Like, I genuinely love the person I see in the mirror when I go to sleep. And I had to go through those things. So now I'm not bitter, and now you can get me. So I feel like in the past, even if you listen to my music, I'm not going to knock none of the work, because I was speaking from a place that I was expressing at that time. But you can hear a tone switch, because I'm not bitter. I'm just Like, okay, I get it. I was that, but this is where I'm at now.
Yeah, I could tell that you're at peace and just with everything that you're doing now. And this album, it's really going up. And this is, I mean, because you wanted to make West Side Story the first single.
Yeah, and then the team was like, "Are you insane?" Like, imagine, right? Like the last song you heard from me was Black and Blue, or I just want to. For a lot of people, still, I just want to get fucked up. And then I come back with Cocaine Cowboy. They would be like, "What the fuck just happened?" So that's what I was feeling because I did West Side Story and I was in a better place, and I just felt like, oh, I'm out of this dark space. I wanted to hear something upbeat, fun, funky. I'm ready to step. I got on my boots. Can you see my boots?
Yeah, I can actually.
So I was in that moment, but they was like, so one of my managers, he said something proper. He's like, I get it. You're excited because it took you a lot of work to get to the space. He said, but let us come with you. You know what I mean? Let us come with you on that ride. You're out of it, but bring us back to that space, and walk us through it. So that's why we started with Ghostbuster. You know what I mean? Then went into Sugar Water and Lime. Then went into Company and got a little bit sexy, and then we came back to West Side Story.
Yeah. Call Me When I Get There too. That's a good one.
And oh, I got. Can I announce it? I'm about to say something I haven't said. Can I say it? I can say it. I can't say it. I'm gonna say what. We've got some surprises coming. Hold on, I got it. What? Can you? Did I
Yeah, I
lose
can
you?
see. You're good.
All right, cool, cool. We got a surprise coming with Call Me When You Get There because I just realized that that's the fan favorite, and just don't be surprised if there's a special guest on there really soon.
Ooh.
Yeah, I can't say who yet.
Oh, I can't wait. It's gonna
I
be
can't.
big.
Yeah, it's gonna be good because I saved the last single because I'm independent. So a lot of this is a partnership with me and MNRK. And so a lot of the decision making affects me personally and my finances personally. So I didn't want to pick the last single. I said I wanted the fans to pick that one. So I had one more single left, and I was like, let's save that one when the album comes out. We'll notice immediately which one is and it's looking like Call Me When You Get There is a fan favorite.
Yeah, that's definitely one that stood out, and I can see the people reacting to it online. So I know I could tell already that it's gonna be. It's
What
gonna
I
go
would
even
have
more up too.
right. If you would have asked me that 2 weeks ago, it probably would have been last on my list if I had to predict it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy. I mean, with your partnership, because with MNRK, it's such a congratulations on that because it's the partnership that you always wanted. How difficult is it for creatives to get a partnership like that nowadays? Because you've broken it down. That's something I love about you is that you tell the truth. These deals that these artists get are ridiculous and it's sad. And you hear about when they get like these $5 million deals and it goes to marketing and it goes to all this other stuff and they only end up with like 100,000 and then they blow that on
Yeah.
cars and chains and then you said it, they get hooked unfortunately on drugs and they become depressed. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. And living in LA, bro, I don't want to sound great, but I mean, I'm sure now the world is aware, but living in LA, 100,000 doesn't get you far.
No.
So you have these artists who sign these deals and they're online. I just signed to Atlantic or I just signed to Republic for $10 million. But then why are you broke? That's not, you didn't get $10 million in your pocket. That's for 7 albums, right? Or no, that let's just be honest. That $10 million is for 10 albums, and you only getting half of like maybe 100,000. You got to pay your lawyer 5 to 10%. You got to pay management 20%. Then you got to pay the government tax. Come on, you didn't get 10 million, fam, and it's okay. I think when people start doing that, now you can say you can encourage the next generation and the next group of artists to make better financial decisions, and they'll do better that way. Hold on 1 second. Um, sorry,
It's all good.
but yeah, bro. Yeah,
Yeah, but I did want to ask you because I did want to get into more about the album and just the songwriting because it was interesting just learning about your life story. Because I want to be kind and rewind. I think you know where I'm going with this because when you were a kid, I heard just all about your story growing up in being born in Dominican Republic and then just your mother being a nurse, but you had a part-time job at BlockBuster and
yeah.
there was a woman that came in that told you that you were doing God a disservice if you didn't go out there and use your voice.
You are, bro. You are such a well. I feel like the art of journalism has gone out the window, and to see it and and the new generation be like somebody that's well researched is like refreshing. But
I
yeah, bro,
appreciate
people
that.
like, how did you work at Blockbuster? That was illegal. It was illegal. I wanted to help my mother so bad that I somehow one of the managers, I don't know how he did it, he was able to get me through it in the system. I had to be maybe 13 years old, maybe yeah, 13, working at Blockbuster for. But this woman come in, I'm singing, I'm putting up the movies. He was just like, just don't make a big deal, like just hide in the back and put the money up, and you'll get like your 300. It wasn't nothing crazy, but I would just give the money to my mom for rent, for her mortgage. And I was singing while putting the movies up, and this woman says, "Now, how do you think God feels about you using that voice in Blockbuster? Like, he gave you that voice to put up movies? Are you kidding me?" And I felt so convicted. I felt like that was God sending an angel to tell me that, because she didn't buy anything. She didn't get a movie. She said that and left. I quit that day. And I came home and I told my dad, I was like, I want to all systems go. And he's like, are you sure? And I said, would you fast with me? Because we were talking about how fasting and praying happens. And manifestation is real, bro. So we fasted for 3 days. Nothing happened in those 3 days. And that night, the third day, we raced to the refrigerator for a sandwich. We raced each other for that sandwich, and we ate. And I was like, "Damn, I fasted. I quit this job. How, what? Like, you just feel it now in hindsight. It's 3 days. Like, I felt like such a failure that night. My MySpace was full. It was like everybody in Atlantic is trying to get a hold of you. Mike Karen is sending everybody to get a hold of you, and I was like, wow. Then went to Atlanta, lived with Trey while he was working on the Ready album, and I was able to write Jupiter Love with them,
Jupiter Love, yeah.
bro. And that's kind of where everybody was like, oh, like there's like this new kid. He's like 15 writing like sex songs. Let's get him in the studio. And that's when I realized, oh, you can make money, so I don't have to be a starving artist anymore.
No, and you really did it, man. You did it big to the point even where Kelly Rowland. When was this? When Kelly Rowland asked where your deal was?
Man, like this is crazy that you know all this. So then Kelly Rowland reached out, or her team, I should say, after Enough for No Love with Keisha came out, and then at one point I had like 3 songs in the top five, like Sex Ain't Better Than Love, um, Keisha Cole's Enough for No Love, and Climax were all like around the same time, killing. And Kelly, I was in the studio with Kelly, and I went to do a reference vocal, and she was like, "Now, where is your record deal? Like, what are you doing? Like, you're just writing?" And I was like, "Oh, I've been kind of beat up by the music industry." She was like, "Oh no!" So she set up my first photo shoot. She was like, "You need to go take headshots and shop your record deal." She put me on email with the photographer, sent me the time. She was like unofficially like damn near managing me at the time, and followed up on it. Hit me when she was like, "Hey, I was in church and they said this scripture, and this scripture reminded me of you." She sent me all her notes from the scripture, and then we went to Four Seasons. Me, her, and Tim, her husband, who I love and adore very much, went to Four Seasons breakfast. They have the best brunch, and she was like, checking on me, and I'm like, wow. Somebody like as legendary as Kelly Rowland believes in my talent. Let me stop playing and get back in the studio. You know what I mean? Because she don't got a lot of me. Like, she's from Destiny Child. Like, her, Beyonce, Michelle have made history. So those things of little nuggets of affirmation, that was God just saying, okay, come on now, come on, bring it on back, bring it on back. I just need you to go over there and get some money so you can, dress how I need you to dress and look how I need you to look, and you're not struggling. But come on back, you know.
Unbelievable. And even Mary J. Blige too. Or she didn't believe that you were
Yeah,
writing those lyrics.
yeah. So Mary needs to look at the lyrics, and I was working with her, and before she sung, she was like looking at the lyrics, and I saw her, and this is so funny. She's like looking at the paper, and she looks at me, she looks at the paper, she looks at me. She said, "Now, who really wrote this?" She said, "Ain't this about a bit?" I was just saying, I've been trying to figure out how I feel, and you got it down on this piece of paper. But just things like that again reminded me that I'm right where I need to be, and it's all a part of God's master plan.
Mm. And
Yeah.
that's right. And I mean, there's been a lot of signs for you. That woman in Blockbuster, I think the woman that was in hospice who passed away that left you that music collection was another angel. Who would you say serves as that third angel in recent times? Because I've heard the two stories there with the Blockbuster woman and then the woman who passed
That,
away in hospice.
the third angel, I would have to split it between two people. My business manager, Matt McCabe,
Hmm.
Um, there was a time where the music industry just people don't understand like as a songwriter, um, you don't get your money on time. Like you're often in dispute. People forget what part they contributed to the song, what they really did, what they didn't do, and it just kind of gets hectic. And your money's in limbo. You did the work, and the song is earning money, but you're not getting anything. And I remember when I first met my business manager before I had my deal, um, he was like, "You need to really go for this thing." And I'm just like, "My money ain't coming from these songs yet. Like, I'm just not sure if it's in my best interest to move to LA." And he was like, "How much would it cost for like your first 6 months to like your mind to be clear?" And I was like, "I really don't know." And he really like walked me through like how much an apartment would be. Um, and I would say by the time it was all done, maybe it was like 15K. So as soon as I got my deal, I paid back 30. Because I know it's not even about what was given to me. It was you have afforded me an opportunity to make 20 times that. So here's first of all, you're the first person I want to give it back to, but also here's something so that you can continue to do good for other people. And he didn't go nowhere. That's not now. That's one of my best friends and the closest people around me. And then my father as well, who quit his job when the moment that he saw that this was like a priority for me, and took me under his wing. I mean, and used his savings to just make sure that I could like if I was auditioning for movies. So, like he just made sure he was there for me so no one could take advantage of me. You hear all these crazy stories about child stars who get taken advantage of, and my father just quitting his job and just making sure that he was. And now I watch some things unfold about certain people that I was like in close proximity with. And I can gladly say, thank God I wasn't a victim of a lot of those things, but that's because my dad made sure he was there to protect me. So that was a big sacrifice. Another one of them is my boy Shy.
Shy, what's going on?
Yeah, man.
Shout out to Shy, man.
Yeah, he was on my team, and I remember um when I left Trey's crib because Reddy took off and Trey was blowing up as a huge superstar, and I was ready to just like find my own way. And then I started questioning things. And I was like, I'm gonna move back home. And he was in a dorm. He was like an intern at Songbook, and he was like, "Nah, bro, like you need to just give it a little bit." And I'm like, "Nah, I'm ready to go home. I'm gonna go back to school." You know what I mean? And he was like, so he invited a dorm. He was already living with 3 other people. He didn't even ask them permission to bring me to his college dorm, bro. He just brought me over there. And that's all I needed. I just needed a couple weeks to get back on my feet, and I did. So those things, man, like are little angels that God has sent throughout my career to just make sure I got to the destination to do what he needed me to do.
And you've been doing it, man. And it's something that is interesting because back when the whole Quentin Miller, Drake, Meek Mill went down, because everyone was talking about ghostwriters, that I didn't realize that it affected the R&B game too. Kind of in what ways did you start to notice that as a songwriter that ghostwriting was being judged now in the R&B genre?
I think it hurt the rap game because it made rappers um more reluctant to collaborate. I feel like rap was exciting when it's okay if you didn't write your hook. It's okay if you're better with punchlines and you bring James Fauntleroy in to write your hook. I was doing it a lot and I didn't consider it ghostwriting because I was credited in it. But I think with the Quentin Miller thing, like no one wants to see anyone's name in the credits because this person they don't understand the song structure. But it helped singer songwriter because when I was signed to Def Jam, they used it against me, bro. It was like, is he an artist or is he a writer? And it wasn't until now everybody wants to make sure that it's coming from the horse's mouth because of the whole like little kids. I was showing my like little niece and nephew a song, and they went and they clicked on it and was looking at like the credits, like if the artist's name was in the credits, and they was like, I don't want to hear it. So now it's like if you don't write it, it's not credible. But so that helps artists like myself and Victoria Monet and Lucky Day and Money Long, who were often in the past made to feel like we were less of an artist because we were song or the world was introduced to us as songwriters. Now it's like, oh no, like big ups to them because they're the ones that are really cooking, if that makes any sense.
It does. It's crazy when you look at the songwriting and just how the hip hop world it affected the R&B one. It's something that with the hip hop and R&B world that relates is that you did mention that the R&B greats aren't really embraced like that, because I talk about it in hip hop. Once you reach a certain age, it's like they toss you aside. So that happens in R&B too.
Oh no, I think in R&B you're more you become a you get your flowers. I think
Okay,
if you,
you get to fly. Okay.
I think so. I think because Tank now I think is having the career that he deserved
Mhm.
years ago. You know what I mean? I feel like I don't think he got his flowers when he really truly deserved them. But the fact that he's getting them now, I love that for him. And yeah, they're late to the party, but if you can stand in the fire and stay in the fight, they understand and respect your legacy and your legend a little bit more than they do in hip hop. Hip hop is kind of you have those like Kanye and you have the Jay-Z's, but those are very few, very select few. Every is very ageist, and I just don't understand why that's a thing. Like even hearing Andre 3000 saying that he'll never do an album because what is he going to talk about? It's like nigga, talk about what your life, like what you've always done. It's not, Andre 3000 wasn't like somebody that talked about popping bottles. And by the way, Andre, I'm speaking as a fan of you because I remember on my this is something I've never talked about before, but on my first no on yeah on Drift, right, my EP, my second EP, there was a Outcast interpolation, and Def Jam didn't realize that they didn't get it cleared till like maybe mm, a day before everything had to be turned in. And they told me Strange Fruit, which became the fan favorite from that project, was gonna have to be pulled off of the album if Andre 3000, if Outkast didn't clear this. Mind you, they were just getting ready to pull the song off the album. And I'm like, wait, did y'all even ask Outkast? I just believe them to be artists that care about the culture. They care, but ask them. They don't know who I am. I'm not saying that Andre 3000 knows who I am, but maybe if you play him the song, his love for the art and understanding what a new artist has to go through, he'll give me a fighting chance. And they're like, well, who knows him? So I'm Googling publishers and everybody like who would know him. So Big Boy approved it because at the time I think we had the same manager. And my boy Andrew Gould, I looked at this to see who was publishing Outcast, and then my boy Andrew Gould was over there. Y'all published Andre. He said, yeah. And I said, we have like a few hours to get this clearance. Can you please help me? I'm not taking no for an answer. He said, Elijah, all I can do is play it for him. I can't promise you. He's very picky. I haven't gotten him to clear something in years. And I'm talking about people have offered money. I said, just play it for him. Call him, corner him, and play it for him. We have an hour or so. He called me back maybe in 20 minutes and said, Andre said yes. So that's how we have Strange Fruit. We would not, if he didn't do that right away, right, and he didn't charge. He said, that's another angel moment because who was I? I was not even known. Like, that's amazing for him to do that.
Yeah, that was big time. That's a big time story that you told there. I appreciate you for sharing
I've
that.
never spoken about it before yet, but
Yeah,
we had Strange Fruit. That Andre hand selected, or I would say hand approved that record in the crunch time, in the crunch moment.
crazy. You brought
Yeah.
up Kanye before. Have you thought about doing something with your house in Florida? Because I know you said when you went back, you didn't even recognize it. It was like so small. Have you thought about recreating something similar that the Donda house that Kanye did for the Donda album?
You know what? I revisited that place, and I didn't like it.
Mm,
I remember, and that's what I talk about it in the song. Like when you're a kid, your problems are less, so your imagination is bigger. The hallways in my mind are bigger. I didn't have so much disappointment in the world and people, and I just was more free thinking. So how I remembered in my head, it was a beautiful place. When I went back to see it recently, I didn't get that vibe. So I'd rather remember it how
how it was.
it was and leave it as that place, me running through the halls with my sister. But I'm looking at this small ass house, and I'm like, this is not the house. You know what I mean? The ceilings were higher, the hallways were endless, the grass was greener, but I was a child, and that's just how it was a place. It represented that. The world represented that for me. Yeah.
Yeah. When because Usher, it's crazy just learn about it. Usher played you songs that didn't make Confessions, and I do hopefully maybe someday for the anniversary of Confessions, we maybe hear something or maybe does something special for the fans that will hear those songs that you heard. That would be amazing. But what was the most important question that he answered for you? Because you did ask him some important questions I heard during that session.
I did. I just was like, when somebody who's like your musical hero is playing you songs that didn't make it, I'm like, why didn't this make it? Why didn't? And he just was like, the story, the story. It's a great song. Do I love it? Yes. But did it go with the conversation that was being had, the thread? And that's why this project, I had songs I loved. I probably recorded 115 songs for this album. And my goal was to narrow it down to 9 to 10 because I love Thriller and Purple Rain and they had them type of songs. But because of my deal, it couldn't be less than 12. But the way I narrowed it down with Wardell Malloy, who like is creative producer of this project, is what is the story? Which one ties into this? And so to hear when people compliment me, I'm just like, y'all think it's a small compliment when you guys say you guys appreciate the storytelling. That's the highest compliment because when it all came down to it, how we selected the ones that made it was the storytelling and how it flowed. And my boy Omar from who actually was uh my guy since Rock Nation days. He was like my manager then in house. I think might have been who brought me to no, it wasn't him who brought me to Rock Nation, but we were on the phone yesterday, well the day before yesterday. And he was like, man, like I'm somebody that'll like because he's a busy guy. He's the president of Rock Nation. He's like, so sometimes, yeah, you skip through. He's like, I didn't want to skip because I didn't want to lose the story. I didn't want to lose the pieces of it. So I was like, bro, not only is this coming from you, but the way it came from, and I know that's something you listen to when you're looking for records for Rihanna, for Maida, and for everybody else. I'm just like, I love that. That is the compliment I'm getting for this project. That means I did it right.
And you did, man. And the songwriting's been there. You mentioned Rihanna. You wrote for Rihanna, Justin Bieber, Keisha Cole, some of the biggest in the game. We already talked about the Usher collaboration. But now that, because it's been a while now, because I think you most recently did something with JoJo and the Kalani record. And I know you got the Kalani version still. But are you looking for artists to, are you still going to be in the songwriting bag, or are you now more reserved to just continue on with your own sound as an artist? Because I think you're in the perfect headspace right now. You've arrived, you said. So now you focusing more on just on your music?
I got a session tonight with writing for somebody. Are you familiar with John Brown? He just had a #1 song at R&B radio, and it's a part of me because I now once you get that bug to tell stories, you kind of don't want to stop. My album's out, but I'm inspired. You know what I mean? And I want to help other people tell the truth. I want to help them tell their stories and paint their pictures. So I'm going in with JB tonight, and anytime Rihanna calls me, I am working on that project whenever she's ready for it to come out. I'm still shooting. I should say I'm shooting to be on the project. But anytime she comes, if she has an idea, if Omar's like, yo, she was trying to go in this direction. All right, let's go this way. She's trying to go this way because I also find inspiration through her and through how she's able to be free and genreless. So I made my best music with Rihanna in mind, and
Mm.
I waiting to say that. But like anytime Rihanna's working, somehow there's an Elijah Blake project being made because she removes the limits and expectations of genre and what you can and can't do because she's oh hello she's broken all the rules. So this project, the only other project I was working towards while making this was the Rihanna album. So that's why sonically there's really no chains to genre. You can Rainberry Woods has country nuances, but then West Side Story has rock elements and Sting elements and Rick James elements. But then Call Me When You Get There is like Coldplay and Radiohead ish. And then you have um Company, which is like, reminiscent of like classic Elijah, like in my bag. So you're getting all those things. And then look at my A&R. My A&R is being a hater. He's trying to interrupt my call. He want to be a star so bad.
uh, but I mean, with your talent, man, because I would love to see you do some work with some of these '90s groups. I mean, even Boys to Men. Is there one? Because it's crazy because you were almost in Pleasure P. Because Pleasure P, when he left the group, you were there for like a day or two, so you almost had that connection there with groups. So, who would you like to kind of bring new energy to if they called you up? Would it be a Boys to Men, a Jagged Edge, a 112, a Jodeci? Who would be that group you would love to go work with to bring new energy to?
Joe, everybody you said.
Yeah.
Jagged Edge, hell yeah. Jodeci, hell yeah. Um, I really wish Day 26 would have stayed together a little longer. I was really enjoying Day 26. One of my favorite songs, I feel like one of the best R&B songs of all time is Co-Star by Day 26.
Mm.
And I was enjoying it. Like that was the last of like the boy bands where I was like, oh, this is fun, like watching y'all when y'all not trying to knock each other heads off. But yeah, I enjoyed Day 26.
Yeah. And you feel as though you're in your B2K era. I did see that on the Instagram.
Why you say that?
I don't know, because I saw that on the Instagram, on your Instagram. It said B2K vibes.
No, Y2K.
Oh, Y2K. That's right. Yeah. That's right.
Okay.
Y2K.
I was like, when did I say?
Yeah, Y2K.
Um, but it's so funny because I ran into Omarion at the BET Awards and we chopped it up. So I was like, did I say it then? Was it that day? Because I
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
the other day.
Oh, but you announced that you got something big with Call Me When You Get There. What are
Yeah.
some other things that you're looking to expand this album with? 'Cause I know you got a lot of visuals. I did hear you got a lot of visuals filmed for this album. What are some things you're looking to expand more? And then you have more over 100 songs recorded for this. Or are you looking to do a deluxe? What are you looking to
I'm definitely
expand?
gonna do a deluxe. Okay, you got it out of me. You're too good. I'm doing a deluxe with some surprises that I can't say yet. But shows, I'm excited to perform the song because that's a different part of the art, right? I feel like you do the music, whether they want to admit it or not, you do the music for you. And you hope that people find themselves in your story, right? I think that great artistry is when the music is done for you, but people don't want to say that because it sounds selfish. But I think when you do it out of a place of trying to heal yourself, you then heal the world. But then performing it is when you get to touch the people, when you get to see the music actually penetrate people's souls. So I'm ready to like, yeah, I might have like a week or two of like in the studio a little bit longer, but I'm ready to perform it, have fun, and bring new life to it, bring new colors, live singers, live instrumentation, different arrangements. So I'm ready to get out and perform this record.
Yeah. And if people may not know that you were working with Wyclef's cousin on this.
Jerry Wonder, he produced Magic Moments. He produced West Side. You can hear the ones that he did because
With the
I
riffs.
want, and I told him, I said, why does everybody sample 70s on down? They only sample Marvin Gaye. How many times are we going to sample Marvin Gaye and get sued for it, right? Who's going to sample our generation? He's like, well, they just Motown, they just got the best musicians left and right and plugged in and said one, two, nothing was quantized. I said, so why we can't do it? He's like, we can. I said, ain't this your city? He got the baddest musicians. So Magic Moments, that's us. Him said one, two. There's a drummer mic'd up in the studio. There's a guitarist. There's Jerry on the bass. There's somebody on keyboard, and they're looking at each other like, "Are we finna go here?" And that is the magic and the feeling that AI can't duplicate. So I'm like, that is how we're gonna battle artificial intelligence because the unpredictability of the guitar player saying, "Okay, I'm about to go to the one," and looking at the bass player like, that's the magic that they were doing with Michael Jackson and Prince, and that's what you can feel in those records.
And that's, I mean, you're a student of the game. Prince is your guy, the duality of it. That's your guy.
Yes, bro. Yes, bro. I like the fact that I'm getting that. Like I was walking down the street and somebody was like, "You," oh, in New York, and so I said, "Hey, you know who you remind me of?" I said, "Who?" They say, "You remind me of Prince." I said, "Right on."
Yeah, I mean, hey, Prince with the independence too, because he had his label issues back in the day. He had to use the symbol. You do have the relation there with him with that, so I could see the
I really keep
correlation.
that in mind. I almost went back to a major. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I was starting to get exhausted of like doing music that I wanted to get to the people, but there were companies and big corporations in the way of helping me get to the people. So I'm just kind of like, damn, like, how do I get these songs? Do I got to go back to a major? And I sat with them, and I just would hear Prince in my head, not speaking to me, but what he said in the past before. I'm just kind of like, Michael and him died trying to be free of that. And we actually have an opportunity to do, like, they didn't have social media, they didn't have DSPs, and they couldn't get directly to these outlets, and we can. Like, if you have, I'm not saying everybody has to, but at this point in time, everything I've sacrificed is to have somewhat of a name for myself, and I should use that to elevate myself with the freedom of not somebody not telling me what type of music to make, how to make it, when to make it, why. You know what I mean? So I kept hearing that, and that's the only thing that kept me from going back to a major label.
Yeah, I want to thank you just for you standing in your truth and just doing it the way you're supposed to be doing it, because it's really discouraging to see what the major labels are doing, the gatekeepers are doing, because they're trying to appeal to TikTok songs, and it's not only affecting just music, it's affecting movies. People in my field, the streamers and all these people, influencers and clout
Right,
shit. It's too much, and that's what they're catering to now. They don't care about the people who are really talented and crafted and songwriters such as yourself. They care about
right,
the Happy Meal products in the
right. Would you
entertainment.
consider
That's all like
yourself a streamer?
microwave.
Would you consider yourself a streamer?
No.
I was saying, yeah, you're a journalist to me.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I went to school for this. You know what I'm saying? I'm my
Yeah,
own
yeah,
host and journal, and it's sad that we're grouped in with people that, I'm
yeah,
just gonna say it, don't have the talent and don't have the background, but for some reason, just because something goes viral, that's the talent pool for these gatekeepers. They don't look at artists and people that have the credentials. They don't do it
yeah,
anymore. They go
yeah.
off of, and numbers can be fake, because I know a lot of times this is a number based industry now. They're like,
Right,
well, how much of a following do you have? How many numbers do you have on this? And if it is big or small, no matter what it is, if it's really big, you can buy those numbers.
exactly.
That's the thing that's so crazy about it. It's like you're going based off of a number that could be lied about. It's crazy.
Right, but the only thing that can't be faked is the feeling, and
Yeah.
that's once my team told me we were doing this, I was like, yes, because the people matter. How you make the people feel, how you affect the people, anything that can extend my reach to people who are excited to cause disruption. That's one thing when I get dressed in the morning now, I want to cause disruption. I want to go against everything that they say a black R&B singer is supposed to dress and feel like. You know what I mean? When I sing my songs or when I tell a guitar player to play something, don't play me what you would play on Music Soul Child. Play me something experimental. You know what I mean? Like, what's something that you would play and you'll be like, nah, they don't want to hear this. I want to hear that. Like that freedom. So and that's what I feel like your platform represents, and that's why I'm excited to like do this. Like literally, like we were leaving and we were stuck in traffic. I said, I don't give a fuck. I'm getting on this motherfucker in traffic. And now I'm sitting outside on a park bench. Like, you know what? I'm excited about these type of platforms because this is the future, not that other shit, bro. Like real people, all that other stuff. A lot of times people watch it because they want to dislike it anyway. So why would I want to go on a platform that somebody already dislikes the person that, is the face of it? So now I got beef just by, relation. Like I got enough beef out here on my own. I don't need to be added to like other beef.
No, and I appreciate it, man. You're someone I really respect. You've been doing your thing for a very, very long time, and like you said, you have arrived. I think you've arrived before now, but now that we see with the new album and the success that it's having, I mean, you have the unedited version and the edited version charting. I mean, are you
Two
kidding
and
me?
three. And last time I checked, it was 2 and 3. So for me, now we're motivated to like, and I see my fans like, let's get it to number one. And the first 2 days, because when something just doesn't seem even possible. Much respect to Khalid, but he's signed to RCA, $1 billion corporation.
Mhm.
No matter how you try to spin it, I'm indie, so I wasn't even expecting to be in the 100. I've never been top 20 album anything. I've never been top 10. So when I only found out that we were like top 10 on iTunes because another artist was like, Elijah's top 10. I was like, wait, what? Is this true? So then I go and see. And then by the time I go to see, we're like top 3. And the other version is top 5. So I'm like, huh? Is somebody being funny? Y'all rock with me like this? Like, you know what I mean? So now I'm like, well, sky's the limit. So I will say the first day, we're like, let's go get it. But today I woke up like, guys, because now I see everybody from my team, my friends, my family, they're all charged up. And I was like, no, but we didn't even expect to be top 100. So yes, it's fun for the sake of the sport to see how far this can go. And I just think it's a big step for independent artists. I have so many artists that are on major labels right now, DMing me like, wait, you're not on a major? I'm like, no, bro, this is just me, my friends, and my family who love me. They're like, oh, bet. I've been trying to get out of my deal and I've been thinking I had to sacrifice these things. Sugar Water and Lime is top 30 in the top 30s this week. These are things I couldn't even accomplish on Universal.
Mm.
So I think moments like these reveal. I'm so sorry. Is that loud?
No, it's not.
Okay. I'm gonna wait till Donald Trump's helicopter gets from over me. Yeah. Uh, I have artists saying, "Oh, so I can achieve these," because a lot of these artists are in prison. We've been made to believe that, oh yeah, you don't like the major label system, you don't like us having this type of power. Well, then go ahead. You'll never get a music video. Go to your low budget music video. You'll never be heard on radio again. And you know what I mean. So some of these people are miserable, but they're playing the game because they think. And I'm just like, no, it's changed. This is not the 90s. You can go directly to Apple. And the billboard that we have, I can't afford no goddamn billboard, but you have champions like Pandora who have these programs in place for artists like myself to still say, we see you, we hear you, and we want to help. We want to help level the playing field for artists like yourself and the Taylor Swifts. So this week we're gonna do this. We selected you because we love the album and we connect with it for our blueprint, and we're gonna give you a billboard in Times Square. You have Apple Music, who was like, yeah, you're not on a major label, but we're gonna put you on the homepage of iTunes and put you on the. So there are also people that are fed up. And they've seen what this music industry has done to people like Amy Winehouse and what it's done to. It's like, how many more people are we going to artists or greats, because we're emotional people. These are our lives and what we've gone through, our blood, sweat, and tears in these stories. So we're playing a very dangerous game with our mental. And you do have people in these platforms now who can say, okay, maybe I'm not supposed to be doing this, but this week we're gonna give this to you. So I think that's what's happening. So even us being number 2 and number 3 is a huge step for independent artists, because I shouldn't even be up there. Like, you know what I mean? Technically.
The talent speaks for itself.
Thank you, bro.
That's why, man. I mean, I've heard the records. It's one hell of an album. I'll tell you that.
Thank you.
And it's real R&B. It's not anything that you would expect of today's. Usually, a lot of it's auto tuned, unfortunately. But this is rare R&B, and it's with the raw vocals, man, and the instrumentalization that we talked about, and just the production behind it. You could tell you put a lot into this, and it's yourself. It's your person, because you got really personal on it, and it's yourself. It's authentic.
Yeah, and some of these songs are hard to listen back to, like especially Father Abraham. I'm talking about my biological father because I'm mad at him, but in the same way, like you still want forgiveness from your parents, forgiveness for shit that they did to you. It's so crazy. You know what I mean? Like, but that song is hard. So I'm kind of like, even though I'm like, yeah, nigga, like hold yourself accountable. I'm just kind of like, damn, like he probably gonna really never speak to me again after he hear this record. But I have to. I have to tell the truth so that when I'm gone, no one can lie about or just try to make my life seem like peaches and roses in times where it wasn't. I can't continue to act unbothered when I am bothered. I can't continue to act unfazed and not hurt when I am. And once I started doing that, I was able to get past it. So sometimes you just got to let it out.
You do. The Best Friend record too. That was another one that was big on there. Just hearing about that relationship.
Yeah, that was about Keisha.
Oh,
She
wow.
that record wasn't about me, and I found the text message and I posted it on Instagram. And she was like, "Okay, yeah, I do remember that." So, but I love that even when my friends or my fans pull my card, I'm like, no, everything on this album is true. It is so true that even when my close friends try to be like, no, it's not. I can literally go back to a text message and they're like, oh wow, like, you know what I mean? It's no BS and no filter on this project.
I'm telling you, you inspired. If the hip hop world is, because I believe that they're tuned into what you're doing. We need that authenticity back in hip hop that you're bringing back to R&B right now, because a lot of it is just lies and nonsense, and just no one's truthful. We don't have well, Nas is still out here, but we don't have anyone new like a Nas. You know what I'm
That's my
saying?
favorite rapper. So I would like to when I was making Father
And
Abraham,
that's right. You worked with Nas. You worked with
I did,
Nas.
yeah, I did. And man, I should have brought that up before, but like I learned from him when I was in the studio with him. I Sometimes people say I'm too poetic. Like in the early on in the music industry, they used to like, no one cares. No one cares about your poems and And I used to try to sneak them in. And I think that that's helped my songwriting now because I try to not to be so deep that it goes over people's heads. And I had said a line in a Nas session that said, "Today is tomorrow's yesterday." And he was like, "Yeah, I didn't like this other part, but I love this line that you said." And I was like, wow, he really is a lyric. That lyric, no matter how I try to dress it up and sneak it, he was like, that right there, give me that. Lean more on that. So he gave me permission to be more poetic, more truthful, more daring. And so now I'm like, yeah, why? I don't care. This ain't for the people who don't get it then. Maybe I'm not for everybody. And maybe that's what is special about the music that I was called to make.
Wow. That's
Yeah, bro.
big.
Thank
Especially with being this, that's your favorite rapper, so that's even more.
you. He didn't understand, bro. Like, I'm like, you are literally my favorite rapper alive. Like, do you understand? He was like, thank you. Now I'm thinking I'll do the whole like, wow, thank you, man. Like, it was almost like I'm sure I am.
it, it was written or Illmatic for you? What do you prefer?
Illmatic.
Illmatic.
What I love about Nas and Pac is that, like, again, I'm from Florida, and my parents are from a third world country, and I actually wasn't even born here. So the concept of selling drugs is not real to me. It wasn't my reality because my mom was like, you weren't promised anything, and you're in a country of opportunity. Be a doctor, be an engineer, get good grades in school." So Biggie never really, artists like him, I can appreciate the cleverness and the wordplay, and Biggie's an amazing storyteller. But where most people lean Biggie, I lean more Tupac and Nas because they spoke to the child in me with hope and faith. That's all I had. You know, like when Tupac said, "I see no changes. Wake up in the morning and I ask myself, is life worth living? Should I blast?" That speaks to me. Brenda's Got a Baby speaks to me because there was a girl in my school who everybody bullied. She was raped and she was pregnant, and they were calling her whores and all types of things. And she sat by herself at the lunch table every day. So I'm like, damn,
Wow.
this girl was raped. She's decided to still come to school. That means she really wants an education, even though they're bullying her. So I just said, one day I'm gonna sit next to her because I'm like, this girl has a story. We didn't know actually that she was raped. They just was like, oh, that's the whore. Like they used to be like, ho, 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 like when she walk by because she was just pregnant at like 13. And one day I said, I'm gonna sit next to her and I'm gonna learn her story. We became best friends. And you could tell when we got to school, she couldn't wait to come up and speak to me because now, like, at least she had somebody to pretend to have a conversation with her and act like she didn't hear kids walking by calling her a hoe. You know what I mean? Like, and I think when I became her friend, then other people were like, oh, well, it's not such a folk because people are followers. So immediately as a kid, I was attracted to people's stories and why the whys that somebody is, not the who, if that makes sense.
Mm.
I'm even when people do me dirty now, I'm like thinking about the why. Back then, I wanted to just fight you because you hurt my feelings, and I wanted to make you feel that hurt times 10 because it's like, why are you playing with me? But now it's the why because it all comes from a certain place, and the ways I've reacted, the offense for them might have started in my reaction because how I took it that they were treating me could have been a misunderstanding. So now it's for me, it's all about the why.
And you're someone that you can't even be around someone who tells a lie. And I agree with that. You got to cut those people out immediately.
I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate that because I lead every friendship, relationship. Like, you ain't got nothing to lie to me about. I might be into the same shit. How about that? Like, because I'm just like, we grown. Can't nobody beat you up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I want to be that. Those are the most fun friendships. And if I'm not into it, I'll be like, oh, okay, I can see how you could be. That's not my speed. You know what I mean? Like, I've never done any drug. I've never done anything, but my friends do, and they can do it around me. Like, I don't care. You know, like, so if you lie to me, I'm just like, damn, like, you really didn't have to. Like, you're torturing yourself because I don't care enough. You know what I mean? At least if you tell me the truth, I can help you through it, and I'll feel safe that it's a safe space for me to share with you as well too.
Mhm. I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah.
You got those 2 Grammys under your belt. How do you look back on those now? Just everything that you've gone through with the industry, because I know a lot of times they'll say the Grammys don't love hip hop. We've heard that before, and just the certain critiques that artists give to the Grammys. Do you look at it from a different view now? Are you into those award shows, or are they just it's just what comes with, like, if you get them, you get them. If you don't, you don't. Which I believe you should just be making music for the love of it, which is what you do.
Yeah,
But how do
yeah.
you view just winning 2 Grammys now and just those going to future award shows, knowing everything that you've gone through in the industry, with your situations with like Def Jam and everything you've been through?
You know, I grew up playing sports and running track, so it's still a sport to me. I
Mhm.
can say I didn't do this. Like I said, I granted this album was to heal myself, and I love that it's healing people. So everything is a win-win from here. But if we got nominated, I want to win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I did want this because it is the Grammys is voted on by your peers, and I feel like I wanted to do an album that's Grammy worthy. So when people tell me like, "Oh, you leaving with something with this album," I was like, I always say thank you because that was the intention. I made it for that. If nobody else is gonna feel me, the people who care about music, usually on the board or people that have seen me through my career or on the voting committee, would be like, they might have missed that you got those are live horns on this song. They might have missed that you when it got Dale Becker to mix it and Jeff Ellis to no Dale Becker to master it and Jeff Ellis to mix it. But we're paying attention to all those little things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I want to, and I think that it'll be again great. I don't know if vindication is the word, but I everything that's happening for me now, I feel like it's in the name of independent artists because so many artists like myself have been really ran through the system, bro, and made to feel and beat down. And I watch how artists like myself, we lean on each other. Like when Money Long was having her moment, I was like, yo, like let's go. And even when I was having my moment, she was like, look, she came to my album release party. You know what I mean? Like full
Right.
hair and makeup that she paid for her on her own out of her own pocket. And because we know what that feels like to always be overlooked and to only be your favorite singer's favorite singer, but the world don't know who you are. So even Victoria Monet, this is something that when I next time I speak to her, I want to tell her. I know she's a student of the game because when I saw her fighting, like when I saw the On My Mama video, I said, nah, she won it. She won it. Like that's a lot of rehearsals, probably out of her own pocket. Those dancers, like probably out of her own. I'm just hearing the fight. So once it came across my radar for real, like I've obviously been in passing and we work with a lot of the same people, but I was like, no, I'm gonna go follow her ass and let her and cheer her on. She was already following me. And I know what that's about. That was there's like this camaraderie of like the singer songwriter who has been in the rooms and everybody's like, oh yeah, they write songs and then we're like, no, we are actually it started with the music and the art for us. So yeah, the Money Longs, the Victoria Monets, uh the Lucky Days, like when you walk down the street and somebody does like the nod to you, is that like every win, I feel like we just putting them on the board for that type of artist or that singer songwriter who has to sometimes who have had to humble themselves in a room and not even be addressed or acknowledged properly, and now we're all getting our flowers. It's pretty cool.
Mm. And you're getting them, man. Elijah,
Thank you, bro.
what's next, man? I mean, you made the big announcement earlier, with the songs and just everything that you have going with the expanded new album, the
Yeah,
deluxe. I think we've touched on pretty much everything. What else you
yeah,
having on the? What else do you have on the way? What else? Anything else that you can speak on that you want to speak on that we didn't talk about? Things you want to venture in, maybe because you're a big fashion guy. I know you're big into
yeah,
fashion. Got
yeah,
your own
man.
stylist.
Yeah, shout out to I think that I want to commit. I love when an artist commits to the project. So like every time I step out, it's hot as hell today, but I got on leather pants
Yeah,
and a YSL boot because
yeah.
that's I want you when you hear cocaine cowboy, you want like, yeah, I saw that nigga walking down the Grove in Hollywood Boulevard with some boots. It's hot as hell. I want I love when an artist commits. Like when Beyonce was doing the thing for her thing and she's stepping out, like I love all that with the cowboy hat. So I'm in this moment and I'm excited to bring it on tour and bring this experience to the fans and let them connect with it in real time. I specifically didn't do any features on the project because I wanted y'all to hear me. I wanted y'all to feel me and judge me in my truth. But oh, trust me, the features are coming and they're going to be great. And they're going to be singing, not singing, but they're going to be singing because I just love when I hear Luther Vandross and Beyonce trading licks back and forth. I've always loved the 90s R&B duet. We Can't Be Friends, Deborah Cox, RL, Kiki Wyatt, Avant. So I've called on some of the singers, and like DJ Khaled said, the vocals are in.
The vocals are in.
But the deluxe is going to be fun.
That's gonna be amazing. I'm looking
And
forward
it's
to it.
the singers. It's the gatekeepers. It'll be my way of giving them their flowers once again. And certain people will be like, I always want to hear Elijah with this person, and the high notes would be glorious. And I want to invite him in the studio, and I have actually, and said, go crazy. If you've never had the permission to, I didn't when I got on the record with this person, I didn't want to oversing them, outsing them. There's no ego. Do every trick, everything in the book, because I just think the culture needs this, let's just have fun, because the music has already spoken to me. But for the deluxe, I want it to be like an even greater experience in that way.
I'm looking forward to it, especially with the duets, the 90s. I love those.
You're in for it. There's one last one we're trying to lock in, but if we get this one, and I know we will because we're close, it's gonna be massive.
Oof.
Yeah.
That's gonna be big time.
Yeah, bro. I'm excited. Again, bro, I love your platform. I love what you represent. Thank you for letting me come on here, bro. I was not expecting this. Even with everything I knew about you, I just think because of the age and time that we're in, I wasn't expecting it to be this in-depth, this informative. You reminded me things about myself that I might have chosen selectively to forget. And I'm glad that my music is calling on the hearts of people like yourself to sit with me, because I am now offered a space to even dive deeper in the stories I might have missed, or certain dots that I was like, oh, damn, I should have, because of deadlines, I could have connected that a little bit more. Platforms like yourself are allowing me to do it. So I can't wait to see what comes from this, bro. And yes, please stay in touch.
Absolutely, man. When you release that deluxe, got to have you back on, man. Anytime we're locked in, man. I appreciate what you're doing for R&B, and you've been doing it for a while now. You're getting your flowers now. We're gonna give you your flowers right now. This is what this interview is, and just everything that you're gonna accomplish now, because you've worked for it, you earned it, and you're a true soldier for the independent acts out here, and I respect that. And this is what the industry is going to be geared to now, because we've seen how many artists have been ripped off, and you're someone that's going to not let that stop you. And God woke you up from that sleep. It's your time now.
And it's working, because I ain't have no more in me. I think God, when he woke me up from my sleep, he was like, Jesus, let's get him right, because we're losing him. Maybe pull him out of that funk, pull him out of the fire. And she's like, all right, you sure about this one, Daddy? Yeah, we losing that one right there. So it's all
But he's
good.
back. He's back, and he's doing it to the fullest right now. Go check out that new album, Elijah, available on all platforms right now. Make sure you go download it. Most of all, streaming is very important. Make sure you stream, but downloading, make sure you support the independent artists. Make sure you support
iTunes. People think that Apple Music and iTunes are the same thing. No, there's a pink star. How many people would you say are listening to this right now?
Right now, I'd say a couple thousand.
Okay, so y'all 1,000. Please do this for me. I promise you. This is worth more than you streaming the song 40,000 times. There's a pink star, and people be like, I don't got it on my phone. Yes, you do. You can't even delete iTunes out of your phone. So there's a pink star on your phone. Click that pink star. If 1,000 people do this right now, I will beat Khalid, and you guys will be a part of. This is going to go viral. They're going to be like, Elijah's attacking Khalid. No, but an independent project will beat a major project for damn near the first time I'm aware of. But there's a pink star on your phone. Click that pink star. Go on iTunes, and then make sure you're on the music side. The long way is go to genres, hit R&B. We're on the homepage. You'll see the project is either 2 or last time I checked, it was 2 or 3. But if it's falling, we're in the top 5. And buy it for $10. And do the same thing for your favorite artist. If you want your favorite artist to get another music video, I see a lot of fans saying, give me. It's a business. This is a music industry. So it has to make sense for them to get these things back, whether they're investing in themselves or if the label's saying, why do I want to give Normani another video? Why should I give this person another video? So you click that pink star and you buy it for $10,000. And even if you never stream it again, you have done more than if you would have sat in that house and listened to that shit 15,000 times. So if I could get 1,000 of y'all to do this, this is what they do in church. If I could just get 1,000 people, hallelujah, glory Jesus. If I could get 1,000 of y'all to do this, we will win and we will get the #1 spot. But if not, I love y'all and thank y'all for anyway.
Yeah, make sure everyone out there listening, go support the album, download it most of all on iTunes. Because I'm someone that I downloaded your album on iTunes. I still download all my music on iTunes. If you're good,
Right. By the way, send me your email, bro. I want to send you something. I have
oh,
something special.
absolutely.
Yeah. No. I mean, email me or text me, whatever. And I have Shy send over my information, but your address, I want to send you something. Where are you based out of?
I'm based out of Connecticut.
Okay, I want to ship something to you, man.
Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah, I'll send everything to Shy. I'll send him everything over to him. And shout out to Shy, because I know he was in the interview. Is he still in the background there? Is he...
Oh, look at him. He's flagging people down and I'm
There
ignoring the video.
Yeah, shout out to Shy.
He's telling people to shut up on the street. Like, who does this nigga think he is? Like, people are like walking. We're like in an open space. He's like,
shout out to Shy.
You have audacity. He told the reason the Uber driver stopped talking because he was like, "Shut it up."
No, but you need that. That's a warrior right there. Shout out to Shy.
Oh, yeah, my bad. Oh, me and Shy against the world. I'm scared for the world. Yeah, man. So I appreciate this, bro. Again, but we're gonna get something to you ASAP.
I appreciate that, man. It means a lot. You're always going to be having an open spot here on the show to whatever it is that you need to promote. Shout out to you. Make sure they can follow you on Instagram too, at Sir Elijah Blake, and as well as Twitter, X, all the platforms. Make sure you tap in with them.
Indeed, let's do it, bro. Let's get that #1, y'all.
Let's go. Let's get it. Elijah, you already know, man. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your night. All right.
Will do, bro.
All right, man. Peace out. Stay safe.
Will do. Yep.